Good morning, this is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel as I continue on my part series, The Week That Was, College Football History Review, the 1977 college football season. Now I'm into the late 70s era of college football, and here we go. The 1977 college football season was the year of the underdogs, the Tyler Rose Blooms at tailback and wearing of the green. In many ways, 1977 was an odd year for college football. The head coach of the eventual national champions was underappreciated and seemingly in an underdog fight for his job at mid-season. The Heisman Trophy winner, who soon was considered to be an all-time great player, started the season as a Heisman underdog and did not even win his region in balloting for the award. The biggest favorites in the major bowls not only lost, but they were manhandled by underdogs. When all was said and done, Notre Dame and embattled head coach Dan Devine were champions, edging Alabama and Texas back. Earl Campbell was the Heisman Trophy winner. Prior to his senior season of 1977, Earl Campbell, the highly recruited big back from Tyler, Texas, was considered something of an underachiever out of the fullback slot in the Longhorns' wishbone. He was then moved to I formation tailback by Texas coach Fred Akers. Suddenly, Campbell and the Longhorns became dominant, especially after beating Oklahoma for the first time since 1970. Akers seemed ready to become one of only three rookie coaches at that point in history to go undefeated and was in an excellent position to win a national championship during the first year on the job and take it over for Darrell Royal. Akers had served 9 years as an assistant under Royal and 2 years as head coach at Wyoming. But in the Cotton Bowl, Notre Dame easily ended the dream, routing Texas 38-10 by forcing 6 turnovers. The bowl loss by its favorite Texas opened the door for the second-ranked Oklahoma Sooners, who were facing Arkansas on New Year's night in the Orange Bowl. The game was wrapped in controversy from the beginning as the Orange Bowl selection committee chose Arkansas over Penn State out of fear that Penn State lost in the last game, regular season game against Pittsburgh, would ruin the matchup in Miami. The Nittany Lions nipped the Panthers in snowy Pittsburgh, but it was too late for them to renegotiate the Orange Bowl bid. Now, the Arkansas Razorbacks, not the big bad Sooners, were soon embroiled in a scandalous week prior to the game, where Coach Lou Holtz in his first year at Arkansas had to suspend 3 players, including his leading rusher Ben Cowens, his backup Michael Forrest, and standout wide receiver Danny Bobo. The players, who had been caught in the room with a partially unclad female student, first sued the university for reinstatement, then dropped the suit. All 3 players were African American, and the remaining black players talked of a strike in solidarity for their teammates. Preparation for the Orange Bowl continued, and Oklahoma became more and more confident. Whether the Sooners were overconfident or overrated remains to be debated as Razorbacks administered a completely unexpected 31-6 whipping. The other underdog to pull a January upset was Washington, which stunned a Michigan team that had been ranked number 1 until late October when rival Minnesota sprung an upset shutout. The Huskies quarterback Warren Moon orchestrated an unpredictable offense that built a 24-0 lead in the Rose Bowl before holding on for a 27-20 victory. His team's rally helped Michigan coach Bo Schembechler deal with yet another final game disappointment. The only favorite to win a major bowl was Alabama, which beat Ohio State with surprisingly ease by a 35-6 margin. Bear Bryant's Chargers were passing the final vote for by a Notre Dame squad that was able to rout the undefeated number 1 team. Crimson Tide fans were frustrated by the final vote by myriad talent returned to launch successful national titles in the next 2 years. Notre Dame pulled a little mysticism out of its Leprechaun's bag as Devine decided to surprise his players by clothing them in old-school Kelly Green jerseys for what turned out to be a momentous win at mid-season over Southern California. Newspapers reported with some dismay that the Fighting Irish as Cotton Bowl visitors could wear green jerseys on New Year's Day, but Notre Dame did the next best thing. The Irish's white jerseys sported green numerals, and that Luck of the Irish seemed to carry them over Texas for the national title. A blue-clad school made waves in 1977. With only 2 winning seasons since 1965, Kentucky knocked off ACC champion North Carolina and dropped the season's only defeat on Penn State. The Wildcats were undefeated in SEC play, but Alabama had one more win to take the conference title. Unfortunately, Kentucky was on probation, and that was to attend a bowl game, and Clark in a dark shadow soon engulfed the program and helped usher out Coach Fran Kirchie, who had built the Wildcats. While favorites won most of the big conference races, the Pacific 8 proved to be the wildest race, rolling down to the final play of the final game. It's like a second field goal by Southern California knocked UCLA out of the Rose Bowl and sent Washington to Pasadena for the first time in 14 seasons. The Pac-8 also had featured the debut of dynamic Stanford back Darren Nelson, who became the first offensive player ever to rush for 1,000 yards and catch 50 passes in 1 year. The best back not named Campbell was Terry Miller of Oklahoma State, who actually beat Campbell in the Southwest region voting and finished as runner-up in the Heisman balloting despite the Cowboys' disappointing season. Miller rushed for 4,581 yards in his career, fourth all-time at that point, and was twice named Big 8 Player of the Year. Finishing fourth in Heisman voting was Grambling quarterback Doug Williams. Became the first player from a predominantly black school to be named first team of Associated Press All-America. Here's some of the milestones for 1977 college football season. Rules Committee made major change to pass the game, allowing offensive linemen downfield to block when receiver caught ball behind neutral zone. Hall of Fame Bowl makes debut in Birmingham, Alabama, as Maryland defeated Minnesota. Name was changed to All-American Bowl in 1985. Finally, Notre Dame became the first school ever to collect $1 million payday for bowl game, which was the Cotton Bowl. Longest winning streaks entering the 1977 college football season. Rutgers had the longest winning streak at 18. Pittsburgh had 13-game winning streak, and Southern California had 11-game winning streak. The coaching changes that took place, it had incoming coaches like Tony Mason for Arizona, Lou Holtz, Arkansas, Charlie Pell, Clemson, Bob Blackman, Cornell, Dick Tomey, Hawaii, Gary Moeller, Illinois, Lou Saban, Miami, Oregon, Rich Brooks, Pittsburgh, Jackie Sherrill, Purdue, Jim Young, Stanford, Bill Walsh, Johnny Majors, Tennessee, Fred Akers, Texas Christian F.A. Dry, Bill Michael, Texas El Paso, Wayne Howard, Utah, Warren Powers, Washington State, and Bill Lewis, Wyoming. Preseason AP poll, top 20 looked like this. Number 20 was Oklahoma State, 19 was Georgia. There was a tie for the 17th spot, Arizona State and Florida, 16 Mississippi State, 15 Nebraska, 14 Houston, 13 Penn State, 12 Colorado, 11 UCLA, number 10 Maryland, number 9 Texas A&M, 8 Texas Tech, 7 Pittsburgh, 6 Alabama, 5 Ohio State, 4 Southern California, 3 Notre Dame, 2 Michigan, and number 1. Preseason number 1 was Oklahoma. So let's get into week 1 of the 1977 college football season. We're going to start with, this is a big matchup, obviously, about 2 top 10 teams. Number 3 Notre Dame played against number 7 Pittsburgh, as number 3 Notre Dame beat number 7 Pittsburgh 19-9. In defense of the national title, Pittsburgh scored early on a 12-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Matt Cavanaugh to wide receiver Gordon Jones. Played that highly affected season. Notre Dame defensive end Billy Fry knocked down Cavanaugh as Pitt quarterback was throwing. Cavanaugh landed on his non-throwing hand, breaking his forearm. The Panthers' offense unraveled without him, losing 4 fumbles deep in their own territory and managing only 6 yards of offense, 4 first downs, and 7 turnovers over the final 3 quarters. Spirited effort by Pitt's defense held off Irish until kicker Dave Reeves' 2 field goals in the 4th quarter gave Notre Dame lead of 12-9. Notre Dame had scored earlier on a 5-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Rusty Lish to tight end Ken McAfee. Defensive end Hugh Green made his debut for Panthers with 11 tackles, 2 sacks, and a blocked punt. Next, Maryland, the number 10 team in the country, beat Clemson 21-14, as the Tigers' defense of Clemson was on prowl until Terps quarterback Larry Dick came off the bench to throw 2 touchdown passes to pull out the win. In relief of injured quarterback Mark Manges, Dick tied game on a 25-yard pass to wingback Chuck White on 3rd and 19. Tying drive started with defensive back Lloyd Burris blocked field goal as Maryland defense checked Tigers, and Dick delivered a 3-play, 62-yard drive needed for a 21st straight ACC victory. Wide receiver Jim Higgins, making first road trip in his 5th year, gobbled most of yards when he caught short pass and raced 43 yards to end zone. Big play for Clemson had been second quarter 93-yard interception touchdown return by cornerback Rex Vaughn to tie the game at 7-7. Terps tailback Steve Atkins ran for 88 yards and a touchdown. Next, California beat Tennessee 27-17. Triumphant return of new Volunteers coach Johnny Majors to Knoxville took a rude derailment as California quarterback Charlie Young broke 10-10 third quarter tie with 58-yard scoring strike to freshman wide receiver Floyd Eddings. JUCO transfer Young also scored twice on runs, while Tennessee quarterback Jimmy Streeter, who had 15 carries for 150 yards, raced 80 yards to end zone to tie school record set by Majors in 1954. Now, fullback Paul Jones rushed for 128 yards for optimistic Bears, who converted 14 Tennessee fumbles into 17 points en route to first win of season opener since 1968. Next, number 2 Michigan beat Illinois 37-9. Former Michigan assistant coach Gary Moeller was brought to Kent Champaign to build Illinois into something resembling the program he left behind. His old team, however, spoiled the debut of what would turn out to be Moeller's 3-year nightmare, as Wolverines tailback Harlan Hucklebee's fumble after hit by linebacker John Sullivan led to Illinois taking a 3-0 lead, but he atoned for the mistake by running for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns that were scored, while quarterback Rick Leach threw 2 touchdown passes. Running back Clarence Baker scored Illinois' sole touchdown on a 1-yard run late in the fourth quarter. Washington State upset number 15 Nebraska by a score of 19-10. After years of serving as Nebraska's assistant, new Cougars coach Warren Powers knew how to win at Lincoln, as Washington State quarterback Jack Thompson earned attention with 2 touchdown passes of 19 yards to wide receiver Brian Kelly. Nose guard George Yarno finished off Nebraska with safety producing sack of quarterback Randy Garcia in the fourth quarter. The Cornhuskers gained 470 yards, but self-destructed with 3 lost fumbles inside Wazoo 10-yard line. They lost another fumble at own 25-yard line that set up Kelly's first touchdown grab. Huskers I-back Rick Burns ran for 153 yards and 20-yard touchdown. Texas Tech, the number 8 team in the country, beat Belt by a score of 17-7. The teams traded spectacular scoring runs as quarterback Rodney Allison put Red Raiders up 54-yard run after a fake pitch out before Baylor fullback George Hawthorne tied things up with an 80-yard jaunt. Allison then led backup unit on a 75-yard drive that capped with a winning 4-yard touchdown throw to fullback Jimmy Williams. Earlier in the drive, Williams took pitch from Allison, raced 38 yards down the sideline for first down at the Baylor 12-yard line. Tech kicker Don Adams' 24-yard field goal provided second-half insurance. Mississippi State beat Washington. Mississippi State, the number 16 team in the country, beat Washington 27-18. Mississippi State dominated Huskies, gaining 485 yards total offense with 340 yards on the ground. State fullback Dennis Johnson rushed for 113 yards, caught one of 2 touchdowns thrown by quarterback Bruce Threadgill. After Bulldogs halfback Lynn Copeland caught 44-yard scoring pass for 17-6 lead, Threadgill reached end zone again, tossing short pass to Johnson that went 81 yards for touchdown pass play. Washington kicker Steve Robbins tied school mark with 4 field goals, while tailback Joe Steele had 73 and 58 yards kickoff returns and a 1-yard touchdown run. Finally, on Monday, September 12th, Houston, number 14 team in the country, beat number 11 UCLA 17-13. Veer versus Son of Veer meeting was won by undervalued Houston, the originators of the Veer offense. Game turned on injuries to Bruins running back Deotis Brown and kicker Frank Corral. 4 plays apart in second quarter, the UCLA comfortably ahead 13-3. The Bruins backup kicker Michael Coulter missed field goals of 23 and 27 yards, while safety Ken Easley had to replace Corral as punter to poor reviews. Houston quarterback Danny Davis led 2 long drives for touchdowns in the second half to pull out the victory. Davis nearly was game's GOAT with lost fumble as Cougars 6 on his own 38-yard line before 49 left to go in the game. Bruins quarterback Rick Bashaw, who thrown who had thrown for a 19-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver Homer Butler in the first half, came up 1 yard short on 4th and 10 pass to halfback James Owens. So that concludes a look at week 1 of the college football season for September 10th, 1977, including the game was played on Monday, September 12th, 1977. Here's a look at the AP poll as September 12th was concerned. We had Brigham Young at number 20, 19 Florida, 18 Texas, 17 Georgia, 16 Pittsburgh, 15 Oklahoma State, 14 UCLA, Mississippi State 13, 12 Colorado, 11 Maryland. Top 10 had Penn State 10, 9 Houston, 8 Texas Tech, 7 Texas A&M, 6 Ohio State. And the top 5 was Oklahoma number 5, Alabama number 4, Notre Dame 2, Notre Dame 3. And number 2 was Southern California, and number 1 was Michigan. So that concludes a look at college football history review, the 1977 college football season, week 1, September 10th, 1977, and an overview of the 1977 college football season. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the channel. I do reveal the Smag 2 tomorrow. Look at week 2, the games I played on September 17th, 1977. Till then, talk to you soon.